comment I have is, technically, I guess the money's still available, but the thing is, the reason and rationale for the appropriations for the money have been met, and there was money left over. So the money should have been returned to free cash a few years ago, but it hasn't been. So it still lies there dormant. It's lying in a dormant account, needs to be closed out. So the question comes, can we legitimately or ethically appropriate money for this purpose that we're talking about tonight under an article which was appropriated at town meeting in 1994?
Mr. Jones?
Yeah, so...
I'd like to...
Yeah, Chairman of the Finance Committee, who was one of the ones culling through all these accounts.
I'll put it in my terms. It is a little bit of a miasma, because there was an omnibus bill, and it was a mixture of free cash and et cetera, et cetera. Under this portion of that article, there were items with attributed cost. And one of those was a bonded cost. So when I got this list for free cash, it went through. But as you look back, they decided not to bond it because there were enough savings in other free cash areas not to bond and incur the interest, so they free cashed it. So when you wrap this all together, yes, there's $5,000, according to the records I was given, $5,060.92. How you attribute where that came from? Was it the police study? Was it the fire department, carpet, lighting? I have no way of knowing. But it is there. And were all those other articles closed out and not needed anymore? Yes, there is $5,000 to be returned.
$5,000 to be returned to...
Or cleaned off the books and thrown back. So $5,060.92 was generated from these 5 activities, supposedly complete, but available. And one of those functions was a police facility design concept. So it's not a strain to imagine that that money, therefore, was in the same venue as we're discussing tonight. So bottom line, that's the money available. Step 2 now goes into Chapter 30D, procurement. And that's the purview of the town administrator and the town financial clerk. So is there money? That's what's available. Yeah.
So in a nutshell, there is $5,000 that possibly could be used for this purpose.
In my opinion.
Mr. Jones, Mr. Ken Jones.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. In view of what the other Mr. Jones said, could you read the latest letter from Feingold and Alexander's? Because there's many people sitting here that don't have the privilege of seeing that letter.
Well, the board was just afforded this privilege 5 minutes before the meeting. So we presented
That's correct.
a draft, well, it says draft letter dated the 26th of January from Feingold, Alexander and Associates, again addressed to the Police Department Building Committee, Lieutenant Nolan. We would like the opportunity to clarify and put our previous letter in context and expand upon it. Feingold, Alexander and Associates was invited by private citizens of North Reading to evaluate your bachelor school for feasibility of renovation addition. At the time of our site inspection, we were also invited to look at the police station for the same purpose and to provide a quick look pro bono feasibility study. This work was recently completed to the apparent satisfaction of your committee. We also indicated in a quick verbal budget estimate to your police station building committee that the cost to complete the material required for your town meeting would be $5,000. The items in the scope of work would include, for example, I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things, which includes, some floor plans and updated plans and things. Prior to proceeding, we ask that you go through your formal town channels to prepare the appropriate purchase order. We'll be happy to expand upon these tasks at your direction. We hope that this clarifies the information provided in our previous letter. Sincerely, signed James Alexander, Feingold Alexander Associates. This evening.
Mr. Chairman.
Yep, Mr. Rowe.
I think you should tell the 5 things that
More than happy to.
the way I read this, what the $5,000 will do. It'll allow for 2 presentations to the town, one to the Public Safety Building Committee and one to town meeting.
One town meeting, and the other...
Then the updated
floor plans.
architectural rendering of color suitable for presentation at town meeting, an estimated cost for the preparation of design and construction drawings, and a conceptual estimate of the probable cost of construction of the building based on our experience with comparable projects.
Right. Quote unquote.
Get all that for 5,000.
Quote unquote. Also presented tonight was the floor plan. The renderings that have already been done. Mr. Dow.
Just for the record, I'd like to point out, at the end of the letter, the last person copied on this letter is myself. And at the beginning of it, it says not sent, which I don't know what means. But for the record, I saw this, a copy of this letter at 3 o'clock this afternoon from the town administrator. I have not received a copy of it, and Mr. Jones gave me this tonight. I just want that for the record.
And again, I think one of the other things that's important to note that under the charter, the only one who's authorized to enter into contract is the person holding the position of town administrator too, and is not even CC'd a copy on this yet. So, again, this is a draft. I don't know if this is usually drafting. A formal proposal doesn't say draft on it, but it does give us some clarification that, again, it somewhat contradicts what was put in the original January 16th letter, which does help clarify the situation. There's no doubt that this outfit has performed some pro bono work, I guess, to the community. It's just a question of to what degree. Again, in the January 16th letter, he states that he already gave you a set of floor plans, already made a presentation to you, and that amount of time and effort expended about $3,000 worth of chores. And in order to complete the task for town meeting, based upon your conversation with them, you'd be looking for another $3,000. Now, the draft letter that was presented to us today, or this evening, said they would need $5,000. So this is the most recent figure we're working with, rather than the 6. Mr. Reitmeyer.
I'd just like to state that a simple phone call by the town administrator when he saw this letter to any member of the committee could have cleared up quite a bit of this confusion. It would have solved the problem of all this, you know, looked like we were trying to fraud the town.
Oh, I don't think anybody was inferring that the police station building committee was doing anything wrong, because at the time, when all this work was transpiring and taking place, you people hadn't even reorganized. I don't even think you were a member of the committee at the time, Mr. Reitmeyer. So nobody was even inferring that. But as far as the original letter, it was presented by a member of the police station building committee to the town administrator, which was Lieutenant Nolan. Said, "Do you know anything about this?" "No, to you. And I don't want me to put words in anybody's mouth, so the town administrator can tell what he did. I think he called the outfit and said, "Hi, how are you?" and introduced himself.
The point I was trying to get at, though, is that I became a member of the committee along with other members, and we weren't even notified that the architect was discharged or told not to even bother to come back in town until 3 or 4 days later by a copy of the letter. I mean, if one of us received a phone call by the town administrator, we could explain that the first part definitely was a phone call. There was some misunderstanding on this, which the draft of this here clearly.
Well, I know, but you have to understand, the letter came from the principal of the architectural firm and said that he expended $3,000 of the money already. Money, there was no money, no town money. It isn't an it was not an obligation of the town, and that's where the misunderstanding came. Again, he had never even met the town administrator, who was the authorizing agent for the community. And Mr. Ralph.
The committee, tell us what you're here for and whether the committee is in favor of asking for the $5,000 so we know where we are.
It was voted unanimously by this committee to come after the money so that the Feingold and Alexander could continue to make their presentation at the town meeting, just as you see in the letter of the 26th. And if you go around and look around some of the police stations they've done in the state of Massachusetts, you'd want them quick.
Mainly the money, Mr. Rowland, is for the computer graphics and so forth that they want to present at town meeting to show exactly what we've accomplished so far.
Yeah, I don't know if, Tom and George, maybe you can explain what the procedures are for entering into contracts and the limitations and what the procedures at Town Hall are and what state law requires before we enter into contracts, so everybody's clear? Tom, or either one, Tom?
So some of the ones in question, I'll be able to answer.
Yeah, okay.
First of all, you could not do $5,000. Under Mass General Law, Chapter 30B, any procurement of $5,000 or greater requires 3 quotes. So the $5,000 figure is a moot point to begin with it, as of right now. As a town policy, we generally go for 3 quotes between $1,000 and $10,000. State law is $5,000. When I received the fax from Lieutenant Nolan on January 16th, January 19th, I'm sorry, the letter of January 16th, it stated that they had expended approximately $3,000 of that budget. That they have stated they've expended $3,000. They did not contract with us for that amount. So I don't know how I can back pay something that I didn't agree to in the first place. So I think that's the first issue. Secondly, when you're going out for quotes, generally the department will contact either George Dow or myself regarding the procedures for such. I was not notified of any request for the funding until I received the fax from Lieutenant Nolan. And in the fax, it already states that $3,000 was expended, and apparently they were approached and that they were willing to do this for $6,000 plus printing costs. Under Chapter 30B, that couldn't be possible. So I contacted Mr. Alexander, talked to him, and asked him, regarding you authorized for such, and according to me was. And sent back to him is that I'm the one that authorizes. I'm the one that has to approve under the charter. No one else can do so. So I sent back to him is that you were never authorized to proceed with a $5,000 budget, and at this time there is no funds available for this project. If you wish to continue the job pro bono, that's fine, but there's nothing to pay him at this point. There is no contract. There is no quotes. So I was just doing my job.
Smith?
Yeah, I guess, Mr. Young, under that assumption, what you've just said is any contract that's agreed to in the town of North Reading that exceeds $1,000 has got to receive 3 competitive bids.
Not bids, sir, quotes.
Quotes, all right, 3 competitive
don't
quotes.
do bids till past $10,000.
So anytime we expend over $1,000, we have to have 3 competitive quotes. Okay, thank you.
You do not have to, Mr. Smith, for clarification, you have to go out for 3 quotes. You don't necessarily have to have 3 quotes in hand. If a company refuses to quote you, you have to show that you made an effort to get the 3 quotes.
Seek 3 quotes.
Okay, I understand it. So that's any project over $1,000.
That's the policy. If there are one or a few have gotten away from us that we haven't seen, I'm sorry, I haven't seen that. But I'm just stating, in this case, it was sent to me that we had a that we had a $5,000 budget, and that we're requesting a $6,000 agreement.
Then can I suggest to you and, I guess, you, George, if in fact we take the $5,000, $5,060.23, whatever it is, turn that money back into free cash, and then allow the the police building committee to go to the finance committee for a transfer of funds from the finance committee for the possibility of a feasibility study for the police station. How would that fit?
The chairman.
You want him to answer me?
Well, no, I'm just saying, I'm just asking a question, I guess, yeah.
Mr. Jones, Mr. Chairman of the Finance Committee, Jones.
Let me go first.
All right, Mr. Dow first.
The process doesn't change.
Pardon me?
The process doesn't change.
Okay.
Which is,
So you can't transfer any funds from
They could
the
transfer
finance
it.
committee for a feasibility study?
Oh, they could absolutely transfer it.